still join the conversation on WhatsApp. Send your messages as we take you through the world of sports with some news from there. 0809 4440981 is the number to send your messages to. You can also send to Twitter at Smooth981FM. Use the hashtag LockerRoom981. You can follow Tega at Tega Supreme if you'd like to tag her in all your comments as well. And we're live on YouTube.
Yes, youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. Let's start with the stories for today.
All right, the first one here. Klay can't indulge in fickle love of media fans. Klay Thompson, a week after apologizing to the Golden State Warriors fan base for his remarks about their lack of energy at Oracle Arena, delivered another subtle poke yesterday, saying it's important for him to remain focused on his day-to-day performance over the changing perceptions of media and fans. Here's what he had to say. At the end of the day, the love for the media and fans can be fickle just because it's so game to game. We live in a time where it's what have you done for me lately? You can't get what have you done for me? Oh, you can't get caught up in the love right now.
Please, there's certain things that are better left unsaid. Of course, the love of fans and the media is fickle. If you perform very well, they're going to praise you. If you don't perform, you're such a horrible player. He hasn't done anything in his life. And yes, those are things that happen. But I don't think as a player, in the place that Golden State Warriors are right now, they're right on the edge. You need to say this to the press. So, I mean, 1 minute you're saying that the energy is so low. That's why you guys are not winning as much as you should be. The fans should support a little bit more. Then you now tell them that you're not interested in their love. I don't understand. What do you want? Pick a struggle. So in as much as Klay Thompson is saying facts or stating reality, is not something that you should state. There's no point stating it. It's what it is. Don't state it. Just go on with your life, because the minute you start doing this, then you now start getting people to question you, to boo, to do all sorts of things, and that again distracts from the game that you are supposedly wanting to focus on. What's the point? Why are you putting yourself in this kind of position? So fans just come right now into the arena, see Klay Thompson and like, yeah, he doesn't like us, so they don't cheer. They now say, why are they not cheering? I mean, he needs to. It's true, but it's not something that you say. There's no need to antagonize the media or the fans that at the end of the day will still drain from your game. So just focus on the game without talking about it.
Focus on the game.
Focus on your focus.
All right, so let's focus on the Super Eagles coach for a second. Rohr says Nigeria's national team is not favorites to lift the African Cup of Nations 2019 tournament, which kicks off on June 21 in Egypt. Rohr said although the Super Eagles have improved since their outing at the last World Cup in Russia, a lot of work still needs to be done. In his words, he said, we have to work. We have young players in the team, most of them new in the team. It is not easy to go to a major tournament and win, most especially when we do not have a player playing in the Champions League. However, we have a big chance to go far at AFCON in Egypt, because since the last World Cup, I see the team has improved. So I'm very optimistic that we'll do very well and challenge for the Cup, and for the main favorites are Egypt and Morocco.
Yes.
And maybe Nigeria.
Oh, okay. At this particular point, I'd say this with him. I agree. Nigeria,
Wow.
and no, Nigeria is not favorite to win AFCON, but neither was Portugal favorite to win Euro 2016. And they won. So
Anything can happen.
Anything is football.
Yes.
So just take it as it is. Leicester was the favorite to win, and they won the Premier League. So don't tell us what we already know, that Egypt playing at home, especially with the crowd. Look, this is Egypt, 5-time African champion, playing at home in Egypt with their own fans.
Imagine.
Trust me, it's not going to be easy for anybody to come there and
If you want to tackle their player, they shout at you.
Ultimately, they seem like they already have one foot in front ahead of the rest of the nation. So they can play football, and they now also have the crowd. That is a totally different thing. We know that. But in as much as that is the case, go and play it game by game and see if you can win. And it's only making this difficult because of the friendly today. Yeah, that's what I'm calling it. I'm calling it friendly because it's of no consequence. So they're playing today in Asaba, and so I mean, of course, these questions will come up like, "Are you sure your team is now ready to win a championship?" And he says, "No, we are not favorites." Don't look at him. Don't look at him funny. Just tell him we know you're not favorites. But underdogs have won tournaments before. You'll be the first. So go out there and do what you can do. But today's purpose is not to try and pick and win. Today's purpose is not to put out a team and you say based on this performance, Nigeria is not winning the championship. No. Today's performance is which other players can we add to the team of players that we think will already make the squad. And so that's what we need to see again from Gen of Rohr. But him telling us that we're not favorites, it's no news.
Well, he's just trying to manage expectations. So if anything happens, you refer.
There's no, you cannot manage it. We are still expectant of the trophy. You cannot manage any expectation. There's no. It's like saying, look, the Germans know that they are not in a good place right now, but you cannot come and tell us not to expect that we will win the Euros. As far as the Germans are concerned, we have to win.
Yes. All right.
Even if they know that the team is not in a good place.
Yeah.
That's how Nigerians, we're in Africa. This is AFCON.
We have to win.
We have to win. So we may know that our team is not up to scratch. We may know that chances are we will not win it.
But win we must.
It will not. It's not temper down or turn down.
Competition saying we're going there just to perform.
The squirrels of Benin.
Tosan actually says this on WhatsApp. Tosan says, I agree that the fans can be fickle, in as much as it is true that Klay Thompson shouldn't be saying this. These fans are the ones that will cheer for you, and if they do not, it can affect the game instead of mine during the games. Our Super Eagles coach is saying the truth, but teams who aren't favorites, who were underdogs, came to tournaments and won. Wow. Examples are Portugal and Croatia, who got to the World Cup final.
Like you mentioned. All right, now talking about someone who actually does win. Djokovic has dismissed suggestion of a rift with Federer. Now, Novak Djokovic has dismissed suggestion of a rift with Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal after the ongoing fallout from Chris Kermod's removal as ATP chairman. Djokovic said, I saw Roger today. I mean, first name basis. We were in the opening ceremony cutting the ribbon on center court. We had a small chat. There was no time to talk about the political stuff. That is hopefully something we'll have time in the next few days to go through. It's not necessary for you guys to create any tensions between us. In contrary, I have a very good relationship with both of them. Now, Federer said he now saw no rush for the pair to discuss the matter because the decision has been made on Kermode's future. He said a lot of stuff has been decided already, so we'll see if this week is going to happen or not. But we're not chasing each other at this point, said Federer. If it happens, it happens.
Okay, so here's what they're claiming. Here's what Djokovic is claiming that there's no tension about, which is why sometimes I like to listen to Federer, because when he speaks, you can read in between the lines, or you can hear in between the lines. So Djokovic is the president of the players. Okay, what I would call the ATP Players Union. There's a team of 10 players, Players Council rather. There's a team of 10. He's the president of that team. Now, what happens is that group, that council decides on, maybe there's a decision to take. That council will decide, would say, take a decision and say, this is where we stand. Just like the jury, this is where we stand, or we believe that this is what should happen. Now, they'll take that decision they've made, or that advice that they're giving, to the 3 players on the ATP board, who now have voting power to either make it stay, make something stand, or make something not to stand. So Kermod, should I say promotion or re-election or reappointment came up. He's been ATP president since 2014. The previous one passed on and he became the next one. So he's been ATP president in 2014, and they were saying they didn't want him anymore. And it was the Players Council, the 10 Players Council, that had to advise if the players wanted him or not. Now, Federer and Rafa Nadal were of the opinion that Kermod should stay. In their opinion, he had done a good job. The tournament prize money had increased. The next gen series started, and it was making ways for young players. So the players are really supporting him. Yes. And so Rafa Nadal and Roger Federer don't take him out. But a lot of the players on the Players Council, of which Djokovic is president of, were saying that he needed to go. And so before they passed on the advice to the 3 members of the ATP men on the board, or players on the board, Roger Federer was eager to sit down with Djokovic. Like, dude, let's talk about this thing. Rafael Nadal did not even waste time. He went to the media straight to say, look, I don't want him gone. But Roger was like, yes, you can say that in the media, but there are people that can help to influence this. And so Roger was trying to sit down with Djokovic to talk about it, and Djokovic just never had the time. And so now it seems as if the decision has been made that he's going to leave at the end of the season. There's still going to be that due process of where they are going to vote and all, but the influence that they could have had to lobby, there's no time for that now. And now Djokovic is not saying, and we're going to take into consideration Rafa Nadal's and Roger Federer's thought. Roger Federer's like, time is gone. I mean, all this. so Novak, exactly. So Djokovic is now coming out to say there's no tension between us, but we all know that Roger Federer is already pissed, and he's going to take his pound of flesh somehow later on. That's just it.
Probably on the course.
All right, Lagos, we're going to break now, and a lot of drama to keep us entertained in the sporting world. We'll be back in a few minutes as we continue Locker Room here on Smooth Breakfast.
But it's not going to be on court because this money is going to affect Roger's tournament. So it has to be off court.
You too. Hello everyone watching. How are you doing this day? My name is Ayo, and I'd like to present to the panel of judges. The reason why Federer is not fighting with Djokovic. You see, one day Federer went to the court of it, and he said to them, "Do not sack the
They can't see your face.
Oh, they can't. Okay.
Sit down.
No, but I have to stand up and do the gestures now. Actually,
They still can't see your face, Oga. Sit on the chair and gesture. Because even I can't see your face. I'm only seeing. I can see your.
You see my face, my hair. So the reason why we said this is because one day Djokovic, Federer went to the ATP and said, "Don't let our president go. I like the way he gives us money." But Djokovic then said to them, "No, I want him gone. His time is up. Let him go." But Federer said to Nadal, "What is wrong with this small boy? When did he start playing tennis? Doesn't know who we are. Doesn't know how many trophies we won. Doesn't know how many records we've broken." But Djokovic said, "I don't care. This is tennis. Anything can
happen." And then another guy, Federer, said, "Well, you got to put some respect on my name, because next time you show up, I'm going to show you."
Djokovic will beat Nadal on court.
Do you think so?
Yes.
It's not I think so. I know so.
How about Federer?
Djokovic will beat Nadal and Federer on court. It's simple. Federer's mate, one of Federer's mates is his coach. Federer is not a young boy, so all these things people always expect from him.
You see, if he doesn't have respect,
Nadal, yeah, but that's why he's not on the council anymore. Nadal and Federer are not even in the same league. Not talk of Nadal and Djokovic.
Imagine that.
Federer's people are Leighton Hewitt who have retired, and the Roddick who have retired. Those are the people that he came into. Yes, people that he came into tennis with.
Then they should
all these them Nadal and
now who is Djokovic talking back to him? How dare he?
He's head of player council.
Is sports that has leveled them? You're saying I'm fighting with my boy.
He's head
in Nigeria, be like, that's my boy. You know they.
He's head of player council. Of course, they know the power that Federer wields, but they say, see, there's voting power, and that's why they get into all these political offices. So Federer is not in the political office, so he can do certain things, but he can't. So the lobbying was where he would have, which is why Nadal didn't see him, because it's one thing for Nadal to see Federer to see and say, "I don't want him gone," and then you go against him.
Yeah.
Another thing for you not to see Federer, and then do what you want to do. So he did not see him. He just never had time. He just never, because it would have been harder if that Federer categorically told him.
Yeah.
You know.
Now,
that's what he refused to see him.
So even anyways, what am I
everywhere,
saying?
Sports is politics.
Sports is politics.
Politics is a game, so
yes, it is. That's true.
So which came first, politics or the game?
The game has always
the
been the
mics
game.
are going up, children of God. All right, this is Smooth 98.1, the locker room to be exact, as part of Smooth Breakfast with Valentine.
And with Ayo and Tega. Hi, Tega. All right, let's go back into the stories. But first, a quick reminder here that you can send me your messages through WhatsApp 0809-444-0981. On Twitter, we're at Smooth981FM. Please use that hashtag LockerRoom981. The FA Women's Super League is to be sponsored by Barclays from 2019 to 2019-2020 season in what is the biggest commercial investment in the UK women's sports. The multi-million-pound partnership, which sees Barclays become the first title sponsor of WSL, that's the Women's Super League, runs until July of 2022. Now, the top tier of women's football will be renamed the Barclays FA Women's Super League, and there will be record levels of investment into the women's game in England. The new partnership includes the FA and the Barclays working together to drive the growth of women's game at the grassroots level, with Barclays becoming the lead partner of the FA Girls Football School Partnerships and a nationwide scheme to help develop girls' access to football at school.
Wow.
I wish that could be something.
Everybody is just developing their women's football. We haven't finished developing the men's own. You're not asking for
Our local league. Yeah.
But yeah, but this is another big one for women's sports. I've been talking about what Spain has been doing for the women's league in Spain,
Yes.
and now this is what Barclays is doing. The women's league is doing. Sorry, the FA is doing for the women's league in England. And to think about it, well, to put it into perspective, Barclays used to sponsor the men's league. In fact, they were the title sponsor for the men's league for a long time before the FA now decided, okay, our value is now good. You can keep giving us your money, but you can't be title sponsors. But what?
That's true.
Yeah,
So recently it was Barclays. Yeah.
that's what it used to be, Barclays. And what they've done now is they've decided to start putting the investments that are put in the men's league and the women's league, and people are watching women's football, and it's growing. The other day I think it was Chelsea women that was playing against PSG, and there was crowd violence. I didn't even know that there was not talk of crowd violence, but it was the UCL, and there was a crowd. Hence the crowd violence.
Wow.
But that's the bad part of it. But the good part of it is that there was a crowd to watch. So it's not. I keep saying this thing about with the women's game. It's not that it's not entertaining or attractive. It's just that it's not been invested. It's not been well packaged, and teams are doing that. And this investment is not just for the teams in, the Super League. It's all the way down to secondary school football. All the way down. The other day we were asking, okay, apart from, we know that the Super Eagles have sponsorship, but what are the other engagements that the sponsors have around even not just around the Super Eagles, because the Super Eagles are in town for so short a period. What's the community engagement? On the one hand, it doesn't help that the investment is not getting to the grassroots, because that's the whole point of the sponsorship. And on the other hand, the sponsors are not even getting value for their money, because you only have that one match to do whatever you want to do with your brand after giving so much money. But there are other engagements that can even help publicize your brand a lot more. So you look at these partnerships, and it's detailed, not only detailed in the contract, but it's also given to the media what the details of the partnerships are.
Sure.
What are the details of Nigeria's
It would be interesting to go to us about see if there are anything.
No engagement. Nothing is happening.
All right. So, like you mentioned, if we're still battling with the men's local league, I wonder what will happen, or when we'll see the light of day for the female team. By Scotland's humiliating 3-0 defeat in Kazakhstan is the worst in memory, according to goalkeeper Craig Gordon. Now, this is what Craig had to say. He said, I can't think of a worse one. It's a devastating blow, especially against a team who hadn't won at all in their previous qualifying campaign.
Amen.
To lose in the manner that we've lost, it's a huge blow. I've been there in bad defeat. It's not a nice place to be. That dressing room will be a quiet place to be, but they will have to pick themselves up. San Marino might fancy their chances of us coming there now after watching that. Beating them won't eradicate tonight, but they need to start getting points on the board.
Look, let me just tell you what it is. I know people say there are no minions in football anymore. Every team is a tough team. Play the game in front of you. There are some teams you cannot be losing to. I don't care what you say. I don't care what I say in their. Even in their room, you should beat them. Kazakhstan is one of them, and they played Scotland. Like Scotland's, like the Scottish were the amateurs. It was bad. No. The way they opened up their defense every time they had the ball. On the other hand, Scotland romanced the ball a bit too much. But no real action in the 18-yard box. Any goal mark action was very easily thwarted by the goalkeeper from Kazakhstan. So yes, this was a horrible one, and I know what you will say. Say, Tega, no, it's no such thing. Modern football has not become so modern that Kazakhstan should be beating you 3-0. Sorry.
So did you watch the match, or did you see highlights from the match?
I saw the match.
So what do you think they did wrong? What did Scotland do or not do?
What do you mean? What do you think they did wrong? They did not play football. Period. There were too many things to point out. They didn't defend well. They didn't attack well. They just held the ball very well in the midfield. Okay. And every time it looked like they were playing around, then Kazakhstan was saying, "Give me the ball," and then Kazakhstan was score, and then come back and give them the ball to fool around some more. It was bad.
All right, so we have messages here. Tosan says, well, we've actually taken this one. Big T says, Tega, help me tell the FA and the Red Beret man that what Barclays is doing for women's football. Copy and paste is not rocket science. We're not winning. We're not winning it, he says, according to talking about AFCON. We do not deserve to. We won. Sentiments and not preparation. No work, no joy. Big T, thank you.
Big T will collect your passport now.
Like,
talking anyhow.
When we now win, like, I said it. Our Super Eagles, I said it.
Right.
Or is it Super? Yeah, Super Eagles, not the flying ones.
All right, so goalkeeper Jordan Pickford has defended his form after manager Gareth Southgate said he would start England's Euro 2020 qualifier against the Czech Republic. In his words, he says, "I do not know why people are questioning it so much." He added, "I know I made an error against Newcastle and a couple of errors before that. You know yourselves if you're doing well, and I think my form shouldn't be getting questioned. Apart from the Newcastle game, I've been on a good run. With Everton, we've been very good. We're getting that mentality back, and we're winning games as well. Personally, I think it's getting questioned a bit too much. But let that be. I'm not bothered anyway."
You better be bothered, because people are looking at you like the gift that keeps on giving. And the fact that the Newcastle game resulted in a goal, but a few of your other howlers didn't, doesn't mean that there weren't problems. Because I mean, shots that he could easily have caught or saved, he'll first bounce the ball, and then somebody will try to get it, and then he'll catch it back, and they say, as long as it didn't result in a goal, it was good. It puts your form. That means your defenders can't trust you. Your coach can't trust you. Your coach is always going to put pressure on the attack that, look, just score because it's Pickford that is in goal. You never know what will happen. And so don't say you can't be bothered. Be bothered. Put your best work into it. Yes, people are going to question your form recently, and they're questioning it for a reason. So your attitude shouldn't be to dismiss it.
Yeah.
It should be to accept, recognize it, acknowledge it, and determined to do better, not say things like you're not bothered. Go and do a howler. Today we are watching you. Just give anybody a sniff of a chance. You'll be on the bench. You'll not even be warming the bench.
On the bench. All right. Let's take some messages.
Okay. Tosan sent in this one, says, "I'm impressed with what Barclays is about to do with the women's team in the UK. I just feel there isn't enough investment and community engagement in the Women's Soccer League. I watched Scotland against Kazakhstan, but it was a horrible game. Scotland were poor during the game. Their defense was a mess. And the midfield was just holding up the ball." Tosan, thank you.
Thank you very much, Tosan. All right, Lagos, we'll take a break now. When we come back, we'll take our next and final set of stories with Tega here in the building. Stay tuned. Lagos,
I'm sorry. What's the media supposed to do to customs?
I don't know. Oh, you're seeing the message, right? It says customs is frustrating business owners by delaying clearing reports.
Okay, this is the last.
Months,
no, not the second.
Most entrepreneurs have been threatened by clients for these delays caused by customs. Yeah, but we know that the clients too are handing them money to expedite actions or whatever. So sharp practices.
I don't understand what
but
the media
focus.
has to
He
do.
said the focus is mainly on people who are importing sensitive products. So products that have the more attention. Most attention by the federal government.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Please, how do you pronounce Thibaut Courtois?
Thibaut Courtois.
Eh?
Thibaut Courtois.
Thibaut Courtois.
Yeah, he's French.
Thibaut Courtois. I was going to just say Courtois.
So,
wow, what are we going to take down Lagos 981?
Where's Lakumi? Oh, Lakumi. I don't think Lakumi is coming back. Because Friday one, I will not come back. Friday one, I've closed for the day. I want to eat spaghetti. Val, take me to lunch.
I know, right?
No, not
I
lunch.
would have, but I'm going
Breakfast.
for an event, so that can wait.
Yeah, how convenient.
It's alright.
Please travel.
It's alright.
I think I want to eat pasta.
It's
Yeah,
alright.
I think your taste is so expensive. Eh?
Yeah.
You will even be asking for something.
Tega is
It's not
a.
people like you that used to eat meal deal at CFC.
Kilo meal day.
And
And there's meal. There was pasta at TFC now for 600
Tega
naira.
is a.
If you buy me that one, I'll eat it. But it's pasta that I want.
Tega is a continental somebody.
I only eat what I can afford. I don't eat higher.
But you have
And I don't eat lower.
automatically? Okay,
And I don't eat lower.
Automatically, when you said
Where?
pasta, I just imagine crust and cream.
Yeah, that's what I want.
You see what I said?
Hold on.
You see what I said?
No. But if Val says he's going to take me to breakfast, I'll pity him and tell him to take me to Black Belt.
Really? Why are you
Oh, really?
downgrading me?
No, I'm not downgrading. I'm
You
just
know what
pitying you.
I can
And
do?
yeah, I know you're
Yeah,
capable.
my nigga. So they said
Ah, yeah,
my at I've not eaten
Where?
my nigga at Black Belt.
They've been doing it since now.
I've not. I just saw it recently.
Yeah.
You know why I like Black Belt?
Yeah.
Because they're very clean.
Yeah.
God bless you. That's the thing. Their food is pricey,
Yes,
but they're
they're
very.
very
No, but their food is not pricey
It's
compared to.
pricey. It's not a fast food restaurant.
No, it's not a fast food
Yeah.
restaurant, but it's not pricey. It's not pricey like Jevnik Sef.
No, but that's why I told you that I'm coming to Valentine's. This is my mate. Yo, and it's that you just like
No.
we were down to we're humble, down to earth.
Humility.
Oh, God.
That's like because when you said pasta, my mind went to the two restaurants that I know that you'll be talking about.
You know those pasta that they'll dish it and put one.
On top. I leave one leaf on top.
Valentine, even know the name, so maybe I'm not even talking to the right person. Okay, mics are going up. What is your Lagos? Now, Valentine, by the way, guys, you're listening to Smooth Breakfast here, locker room with Tega, Valentine,
And Ayo.
and someone said you should stop saying welcome Lagos, hello Lagos, because we have sent a message that we now have people listening from America,
From Ghana.
So it's not just Lagos.
So hello
we appreciate
world.
you, and
Yes.
our listener who joined us from Germany yesterday. We appreciate you, and we know you're listening right now. You're watching us on YouTube still.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so we had time for one more story before we take comments.
Yes.
So Thibaut Courtois hosts overcome Thibaut Courtois howler to start European qualifiers with win. Eden Hazard scored twice as Belgium recovered from a blunder by Courtois to beat Belgium's pace and creativity, strained the Russian defense, and the hosts were rewarded when Hazard burst into the penalty area and was tripped by Yuri Zerkov's trailing leg. Now, Chelsea forward hit the resulting spot kick hard and low to give Russia goalkeeper Marinato no chance right on the stroke of halftime. Russia, had 3-1 Thursday and sat their European Championship qualifying champion.
Yes, and Thibaut Courtois was the headlines. I mean, regardless of the fact that Belgium won, it was his mistake that. I mean, when you watch that mistake, you wonder what dark place is Courtois in right now, and it's understandable because 1 minute, I mean, you move from Chelsea to Real Madrid, it's supposed to look like an upgrade.
Yes.
But the team went through 2 coaches that had been fired, got knocked out of tournaments with, I mean, embarrassingly, and then you become the fall guy as soon as a new coach is picked. That kind of those series of events can do something to your confidence. So I think, yes, right now he's not the most confident of people. There's a lot going on in his brain, thinking of what he made decisions about, and that's where all these errors are coming from. So yes, you guys have mercy on him. Don't mock him too much. Mock him small. Small banter, but just understand that he's not in a very good place or a very confident place right now, and that's why these errors are showing.
Great you mentioned that, because the people on WhatsApp have started already.
Yes, MI from Makoka says, Thibaut, son of Courtois, I want you to look me in the eye and tell me why you betrayed Belgium. I watched and listened from my television how you played Russian roulette with the tickets of many bookies. What kind of goalkeeping was that? You return at once. to the Madrid bench.
No, Emma is
Yeah,
definitely
I like that. I like his.
he's a Black Panther fan. Right, moving on to our next comment here. We have Randolph saying, simply organize grassroots tourneys, have the sponsors brand jerseys and other kits. Talking about the league here. If we have these kind of events in all states, that's 36 activations in a year and enough brand exposure. It's not so hard. NFF, wisen up.
All right, and Lukman says, "Good morning. I'm listening from Ijebu.
Ijebode people,
Hi,
welcome.
Lukman.
And Biggie from Keto wraps it up with this final message. Says Scotland played like this in the first time in playing football, as if it's the first time they're playing football. They just bought my ticket. Eden Hazard should just go to Madrid. Thank God for Zidane. The club needs new players. Like I need Smith FM.
Oh, thank you, Vicky. All right, Tega, thank you so much as always for bringing it to us hot and fresh on sports. You can follow Tega at Tega Supreme on Twitter, and you can follow her work with ladies in sports at LIS International.
Right.
Now, Lagos, you can follow us at Smooth 91 FM, and we're still going to be live up until 10 a.m. this morning. So our next segment is Lagos Talks 981. Don't forget, today is Feel Good Friday. So
yes, we'll have a very interesting, light-hearted conversation at that time. Do join us then and call the number 014489.